You know, usually when we talk about reaching our full potential, the advice we get is just incredibly mechanical.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like a 10-step checklist or something.
Exactly. You wake up at 5 a.m., you drink your green smoothie, you optimize your workflow, and boom, you're a highly effective human being.
Right. It's presented as this very clean binary process. You are either productive or you're not.
Yeah. And it's treated like an engineering problem. You apply the right torque, and the human machine supposedly just works perfectly.
But the issue is that human nature doesn't come with an instruction manual. Finding where you truly belong isn't a simple equation of inputs and outputs.
Which is exactly why we are throwing out the mechanical checklist today.
Good riddance.
Yeah, we are going into a deep dive on a piece of philosophical writing titled In Setting Gemstones into the Crown by Zhu Feng.
Right, and we're looking at the translation edited by Kinyu.
Yes. Our mission today is to unpack this really profound metaphor about human potential, our deeper purpose, and, the hidden psychological traps that keep us from truly shining.
It's a fascinating text.
It really is. And
Yeah.
to get into these really murky waters of existential purpose, we're actually starting with something incredibly mundane.
Yeah, not a mountaintop, not a meditation retreat.
No, we are starting with yard work.
Mhm.
So, okay, let's unpack this.
The genesis of this entire philosophical exploration is triggered by a really simple domestic chore.
Right.
Xu Feng describes a scene where their spouse is organizing a shaded pathway in the yard, specifically the area between a swimming pool and a tennis court.
Okay, setting the scene.
Yeah, and while clearing away all the overgrowth, they discover this neglected sculpture of a carp.
And it's pretty big, right? Like the size of a lamb.
Yes, a lamb-sized carp completely hidden in the grass.
The sensory details they use here really paint a picture of abandonment. Like this carp had been sitting there for a very long time.
Oh, absolutely. It was battered by the rain, coated in this thick dust, eroded by the wind.
Crawled over by insects.
Exactly. What was originally a lifelike, dynamic piece of art had just become entirely dull and lifeless.
It's essentially garden junk at this point.
Yeah, but the spouse doesn't throw it away. They actually have two gardeners retrieve it, clean it off, and completely repaint it.
Wow, okay.
Then comes the crucial step. They find a new environment for it.
Right, they place it by the entrance of a billiard room, right against a flower wall.
The visual transformation is striking. The newly painted carp is now flanked by two pots of silver-edged spider plants.
Oh, and surrounded by asparagus ferns, right?
Yes. And placed in this specific setting, the sculpture suddenly embodies the spirit of a carp leaping over the dragon gate.
It adds this vibrant, dynamic energy to the entire courtyard, just from being moved and cleaned.
What's fascinating here is how Xu Feng uses this visual reality to build a broader thesis on human existence.
Because the carp didn't fundamentally change, right?
Right.
Its molecular structure is the same.
Exactly. It was the exact same physical object. But once it was cleaned of its accumulated grime and placed in an environment that actually framed its value, its entire nature seemed to shift.
Yeah, just as a sculpture needs the right setting to radiate its intended brilliance.
Right, a gemstone must be set in a crown to truly sparkle.
That is such a powerful image to hold on to. I mean, think about it. A loose diamond rolling around in a junk drawer just looks like a piece of glass.
Oh, totally. You wouldn't even notice it.
It only becomes breathtaking when you mount it. And looking at this restored carp triggers a massive realization for the author about human society.
They look at this yard and wonder, how many precious things in the world are buried in the grass?
Yeah. How many talented individuals are lost in the trivialities of daily life, completely buried by mundane chores?
Forever missing the chance to actually display what they are capable of? It is a haunting question.
It really is, because it forces us to consider the sheer volume of wasted potential out there.
The essay really laments the intellectuals, the wise figures, the genuinely gifted people who have been swallowed up by what they called the vast sea of mundanity.
Their wisdom and brilliance just never get the chance to illuminate anything.
Right. And this brings us to how Xu Feng defines the subject of the title. These hidden gemstones are referred to as sages.
Sages. Okay, let's pause on that word for a second. I have to push back a bit on how we normally use that term.
Sure, yeah.
We usually picture like an elite visionary or a famous philosopher, maybe a high-powered CEO changing the world.
Right. Someone with a huge platform.
Exactly. But the essay defines a sage as someone who is a pillar of a nation, but also just a dutiful child to their parents or a fundamentally law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, it's a very broad net.
But how does simply being a law-abiding citizen qualify someone as a gemstone or a sage? I mean, that feels like setting the bar incredibly low.
It sounds counterintuitive, I know, but Xuefeng is explicitly subverting that elite expectation.
Okay.
The essay isn't equating a sage with fame, volume, or societal disruption. A sage, in this context, is about a fundamental internal alignment.
But they don't have to be loud about it.
Not at all. They can be totally unnoticeable. They can quietly blend into society, silently going about their lives, or they can rise above the mundane gracefully.
Like they can choose to soar completely alone in the blue sky, or they can join a flock of cranes.
Exactly. It's about the quality of their being, not the size of their audience.
Oh, I like that. The quality of their being.
The text actually compares them to twinkling stars in the night sky. Their internal resonance is what matters.
So without these people, whether they are famous inventors or just quiet, dutiful citizens, the human universe would be a dull, lifeless void.
Right. They bring a necessary light to existence just by maintaining their inner brilliance.
But, that realization creates a massive tension for me.
How so?
Well, if these human gemstones are everywhere, quietly keeping the universe from going dark, why does the world so often feel devoid of that light?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah, why do we feel like we are surrounded by grass rather than crowns?
That is the natural next step, and it is where the essay pivots from observation to diagnosis. If the gems are hidden, what is keeping them in the dirt?
The traps.
Yes. The text identifies two primary traps, two massive compounding obstacles that prevent these sages from fulfilling their potential.
Let's try to unpack the mechanics of these traps. The first one is entirely internal, right? Like a lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The argument here is that many of these exceptional individuals simply do not realize they are gems among humanity.
They just have no concept of their own inherent value.
Not at all.
Okay, so if the first problem is internal, not knowing your own worth, I'm guessing the second trap has to be external. It's the environment.
You are hitting the nail on the head. The second trap is societal constraints.
Societal constraints.
Yeah, their potential is trapped in what the author calls the fortress of their own thinking, a fortress constructed by the society around them.
Oh, wow.
Their aspirations are slowly eroded by time and completely drowned out by mundane chatter.
I want to try an analogy here to see if I'm tracking the psychology of this.
Go for it.
Imagine you own a high-end, absolutely incredible sports car, like a highly tuned Ferrari.
Okay, nice car.
Right. Trap number 2, the societal constraint, is like owning that Ferrari, but only ever driving it in bumper-to-bumper traffic on a terrible daily commute.
Oh, I see where you're going.
The environment completely restricts what the machine is actually built to do. The engine wants to roar, but the surrounding traffic forces it to just idle.
That captures the external pressure perfectly. The capacity is there, but the space to exercise it is denied.
But then trap number 1, that lack of self-awareness, that feels so much more tragic to me.
Because they don't even know what they have.
Exactly. That is like owning the Ferrari, but honestly believing it's a golf cart.
Oh, man.
You don't even know it has the capacity to go over 30 miles per hour, so you never even attempt to push the pedal down. You just putter along.
Completely ignorant of the power you actually possess.
Yeah, wondering why the ride feels so stiff.
And that ignorance is devastating. The essay notes the sheer tragedy of this dynamic.
It's a massive waste.
It is. Without an effective system in place, or without people who possess discerning eyes to recognize this hidden talent, people with profound knowledge end up living their entire lives in obscurity.
Eyes fade away.
The author actually uses this beautiful, evocative phrase, "These are people with the ambition to swallow the universe."
Swallow the universe.
Wow. Yet they end up like brilliant pearls left in a shadowy corner.
Swallow the universe.
Wow.
To have that kind of fire inside you, that deep desire to consume and understand existence, but to let it get put out by the mundane chatter of a daily commute.
It really is heartbreaking.
It is. So how do we break out of this? Because if you are listening to this right now and thinking, wow, I might be a Ferrari treating myself like a golf cart, what is the strategy for liberation?
Right, how do we get out of the shadows?
Yeah, the essay doesn't just diagnose the illness and leave us in the shadowy corner, does it?
No, thankfully not. It shifts into highly actionable advice for dismantling these two specific traps.
Okay, good.
To counter the internal and external obstacles, Xuefeng presents two primary solutions. The first is to seek the guidance of saints.
Saints. That is a really heavy word. What are we actually talking about here?
In the framework of this text, seeking saints means finding mentors, guides, or established systems of wisdom that possess the insight to recognize true talent.
So someone from the outside.
Yes, because human self-assessment is notoriously flawed. The essay uses the proverb of the frog at the bottom of a well.
Oh, I know this one.
Right. If you were that frog, you look up, see a tiny circle of sky, and assume you understand the dimensions of the entire universe.
Because you have zero external data to compare it to. It's a cozy ignorance.
Exactly.
You might think you are the smartest person alive because you are literally the only person in your well.
Right. You need someone from outside to look down and tell you about the ocean. Otherwise, your ego traps you in that tiny circle.
Exactly. Seeking saints is about finding the external mirror that reflects your true scale back to you.
That makes a lot of sense. So what about the second solution?
Now, the second solution addresses the societal constraints, specifically how we interact with groups and ideologies.
Okay.
The explicit rule laid out is be friends, but not followers. And Zhuifeng applies this very specifically to religious and political circles.
Oh, okay. Let me jump in here really quickly just to clarify something for everyone listening.
Sure.
We are just exploring the philosophical mechanics of group dynamics as presented in the source text. We aren't evaluating any specific political or religious institutions themselves.
No, not at all.
Right. We are rather looking at how this author views the psychological impact of joining them.
That is an important distinction. The text is entirely focused on preserving the individual's inner gem.
It advises that you should absolutely cultivate friendships with people inside these various circles, engage with them, learn from them, but you should never officially join their organizations.
I have to admit, when I first read that, my immediate reaction was, isn't that an incredibly lonely way to live?
To always be on the outside.
Yeah, always on the outside looking in. I mean, human beings are wired for belonging. We want to be part of the tribe.
It's true, we are social creatures.
So to never truly belong to the group feels isolating. But, the more I sat with it, I realized it is actually a profound strategy for preserving your autonomy.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, it is kind of the difference between being a full-time corporate employee and being a highly paid freelance consultant.
Okay, how does that dynamic play out in your mind?
Well, think about the full-time employee. You wear the company polo, you adopt the corporate jargon, and eventually your identity merges with the company.
Right, you become a company man.
Exactly. When the employee handbook tells you to implement a policy you completely disagree with, you do it anyway because you belong to the machine.
Your autonomy is gone.
But the freelance consultant operates differently. You still get to engage with the brilliant people working there. You get to wrestle with the massive, complex ideas.
That you're not bound by them.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you don't report to their manager. You don't have to drink the company Kool-Aid. You engage with the work, but you maintain your independence.
That grounds the argument perfectly. Joining these organizations, according to the text, means submitting to their doctrines.
Yeah.
Those specific rules will inevitably constrain your free will and restrict your innate nature.
Which dims the gemstone.
Exactly. You transition from being a free thinker to being a servant of the ideology. You become a cog in their machine rather than a gem in your own crown.
You trade your brilliance for the comfort of belonging.
Yes. And the essay goes a step further, warning that you must regularly step completely out of your circle.
Get some air.
Yeah, if you remain caught in the vortex of any single group, it leads to confusion. You lose your perspective.
Right, you get tunnel vision.
Stepping out gives you the necessary psychological distance to evaluate what is actually worth your devotion.
Okay, so that brings us to the ultimate crisis of the essay. Let's say we do all of this.
Okay.
We find the carp in the grass. We realize we are gems. We seek out mentors to avoid the trap of the well, and we guard our autonomy to avoid the trap of the vortex.
We're doing great.
Right, we are polished, independent, and self-aware. So, what does this all mean? What next? Where does the gemstone actually go? What is the crown?
That is the question that drives the rest of the text. Shuifeng defines human time and energy as the true diamonds of life.
Time and energy.
Yes, they are our most finite, precious resources. Therefore, in setting your gemstone into the crown means investing your time and energy into the specific place or endeavor that best reflects the ultimate value of your existence.
But Shuifeng doesn't just offer a platitude like, follow your passion.
No, they go way deeper than that.
They go on this intensely exhaustive mental search, systematically testing different paths to see if they hold up as the ultimate crown.
The list is relentlessly comprehensive. The author details a mental journey across vastly different fields of human endeavor.
They really cover everything.
They evaluate farms and factories, military camps and mines. They analyze government offices, schools, service industries, commercial pursuits, and even what they call matters of the heart.
They were turning over every stone. They ponder the lives of scientists, professors, writers, artists, philosophers, and even the political and religious leaders we discussed earlier.
Right. But none of these functional roles seem to satisfy the requirement for the crown.
Really, none of them.
No, because while those roles are absolutely necessary for society to function, the author confesses that something still feels missing in all of them.
Like they aren't enough.
Yeah, they don't seem to offer the transcendental setting required for a true sage to fully shine without compromise.
What I find fascinating is that they even analyze the extreme dropouts of society.
The hermits?
Yeah, they look at the hidden hermits, the people who completely abandon the societal fortress to live alone in the mountains and streams.
Right, retreating from everything.
In a lot of philosophical texts, the hermit is held up as the ultimate winner, like the one who beat the game.
True.
But Suifeng points out a massive flaw in that path, too. The text notes that while the hermit's life is free and elegant, it carries a faint sense of helplessness and coldness.
It is a really sharp observation. Escaping the traffic jam by driving your Ferrari into the deep woods preserves the car, but it doesn't fulfill its purpose.
Oh, that's good.
Retreating from the world preserves your peace, sure, but a gemstone shining in an empty room isn't illuminating anything. If you aren't contributing to the human universe, the choice feels a bit hollow.
It's cold because you stop trying to warm the world.
Exactly.
But if the hermit's path is too cold, the opposite extreme is what really unsettles the author. They look at the people who give absolutely everything to humanity.
Yes, the martyrs and the tireless reformers. The essay acknowledges a deep hesitation here.
Right.
While the individuals who bring light to humanity through immense personal sacrifice are deeply respectable, the author explicitly states they do not want to advocate a path that makes one's own life journey too sorrowful or tragic.
It is a deeply empathetic stand.
It really is.
They're essentially saying, yes, burning yourself alive will keep the world warm, but I cannot, in good conscience, tell you that your ultimate purpose is to be firewood.
Exactly. The crown shouldn't require you to bleed out in order to wear it.
But this empathy leaves us hanging on a massive cliffhanger.
It absolutely does. If the traditional paths of factories and schools aren't the answer, and retreating like a mountain hermit is too cold, and sacrificing yourself like a martyr is too sorrowful, where does that leave the gemstone?
It brings us to the final, profound mystery of the text.
Right.
After this entire exhaustive, reflective journey, the author asks the ultimate question directly. They say, so where can one truly reflect the greatest value of life?
And what's the answer?
And the answer provided is incredibly open-ended. They just write, the mystery is boundless.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it functions as a profound mirror for you, the listener.
Yeah.
The author isn't handing you a map with a red X on it because your X won't look like anyone else's. They're asking you to evaluate your own terrain.
Right. They put it back on you.
Are you a gemstone currently buried in the grass of a daily routine? Are your diamonds, your incredibly finite time and energy, being spent in a setting that actually reflects your true value? Or are you just idling in traffic?
It is a lot to process.
Yeah.
But I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to mull over, something that builds on Suifeng's ideas.
Okay, I'm listening.
Throughout this essay, the crown is portrayed as a destination. It is framed as a pre-existing place or a career that you must search for. You know, checking the factories, the mountains, the schools, so you can finally place your gemstone into it.
That is the framework of the exhaustive search we just analyzed, yeah.
But what if that boundless mystery exists because the crown isn't a place you can travel to?
Oh, interesting.
What if you can't find it in a factory or on a mountain because it isn't waiting for you? What if, by refining your own self-awareness, by seeking out true wisdom from mentors, and by fiercely protecting your free will from the vortex of conformity, you aren't searching for the crown at all?
Wow.
What if you are actively forging it yourself, day by day, decision by decision?
That reframes the entire pursuit. The murky waters of human potential don't suddenly clear up because you finally stumbled upon the right diagnostic map.
Right.
They clear up because you dedicate yourself to learning how to swim in them.
You don't have to wait for the gardeners to come along and pull you out of the grass.
Yeah.
You can start brushing the dust off your own edges right now.
Thank you so much for exploring this profound piece of philosophy with us today. It's always a pleasure to navigate these concepts together.
The pleasure is mine. Keep your eyes open, guard your time and energy fiercely, and we will see you on the next deep dive. Take care.